Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and I'm laughing because when things get like really like a mess, like when everything gets thrown up in the air, we kind of have to throw stuff out the window and not worry about it. So I am not going to worry anymore about whether you believe in spirits, whether you believe in ETs. I'm not going to worry about whether you believe me, and not going to try to uh, disguise certain things so that I don't upset you. I am simply going to speak. I was worried yesterday when I did the chat about the United States because too many people here just have not been allowed the information. They've been made to feel stupid if they believe in ETs, aliens. And religions here that only exists because of the spirit world, because they don't negotiate your business deals. It all has to do with you and your spirituality. They've done a very poor job of preparing people. If you don't believe in spirits, and the whole ET thing is a really big deal, you cannot believe in ETs and not believe in spirits, both of which simply don't have a physical, what they call a physical vehicle, a physical body. But I'm not going to be able to worry about that anymore. And I think that we need to stop catering to people whose belief systems are going to get completely shattered by what's coming up next, whether it's the zombies controlled by the devil, or whether it's the ETs, it's a spaceship invasions. People just aren't ready because they haven't done their homework and they've taken spirituality and worked with it very superficially. And they've turned it into everybody has to be very nice. And if you're not nice, let's figure out why not. And let's get you back on track and be nice. You got an addiction. Let's work on that. So you don't have an addiction anymore. And we're never going to find out the root cause because then it gets like really ugly. But I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into that because we don't have time. So yesterday I was worried about the United States, which is where Trump is, which is where the negotiations, the important ones, are going to be with the ETs that are on their way here, with the 31 Atlas or 13 Atlas. I think it's 38. It's a spaceship. There's beings on them. My group, we've gone there. It's been fun. And then 2 days ago we went and it wasn't fun because they're already negotiating, and there are people they're negotiating with on the planet that are not cooperating. They want a place to land. Yeah, I know I sound crazy, but that's okay. This chat is probably not for you. But you know who trained me? Your government. Your government still doesn't want to let go of me, okay? Because of my training and because I can handle this level of information. So if it's too much for you, click off. And if not, just sit there, widen your lens, take it in, because it's going to help you if you get the information. But I cannot cater to you anymore. I can't. Because there's no time. So last night my group got together and I said that I was worried because, there's going to be a lot of chaos when all this plays out, and there's not a single person in positions of power that is not preparing for something huge that's going to happen. So what we did was it gave the United States a healing, and what we did was we worked with cannabis, and which cools down and relaxes and also gently opens up the other dimensions so that the person that's under the influence can see the other dimensions, which is where spirits are and aliens are, etc. So I was kind of happy at the end, which I was not when we started the session, which was like an hour long, because it's very worrisome. So today I have an event always on Wednesday at 2. It's called Ask Francis. So what happened today is, like, at 2:23, I had already been feeling very off. And sometimes it has to do with something happening on the planet, not political, but Earth. 9 days after 9/11, I was like really off and out of it, panic attack. And it was that a new fault line had developed under New York City, between New York City and London, on 9/20, 9 days after 9/11. And I could feel it. I could feel the panic. And then when I settled down and asked what's going on, it had to do with what was going on with the earth. So today at 2:23, I believe it was, I said, wait a second, something's going on with Venezuela, not political. So let me tell you what was going on with Venezuela. So at that time, when I checked what I saw, and that's on the map behind me, that they are ETs from out of the planet are attacking Venezuela to provoke earthquakes, to create chaos. So there is an opportunity to invade. And this had already happened a couple of months ago, and I talked about it. The maps are there. And where that X is where they have humans. This is humans working with ETs. We're talking today, October 22nd, 2025 at 2 something. I don't know if I put time. 2:38. So my whole group got together, and the intention was through healings and through visualizations to stabilize Venezuela, which we were able to do by creating those green pyramids that always come up automatically for the United States, very stabilizing, a lot of emeralds, and then spaceships started to come in, but pink. Why pink? That's to let me know and the group to know, I was the one who saw them, that these are the good ETs. There were no spaceships that I could see prior. There could have been, but I couldn't see them. So we were able to turn that situation around. But you know what was interesting? That in the middle of it, Adam Schiff, who has not visited me for at least maybe a month, we can't count on me having to do with time because I work in other dimensions where there is no time. There's no measurements, there's no weights, there is none of that. So people like me, we have a hard time with time. But about a month ago, Adam Schiff was, I think, the last time he visited. He's standing in the door and he's laughing. And he's saying, we're going to kill Trump so that we are going to be able to invade Venezuela. So then the whole thing, this whole instability at this point has to do with Venezuela. The instability in the United States is being caused by the bad guys that were in power for decades with their plan, which I had talked about in this chat. Their plan was to invade Venezuela. And I said, Trump, don't do that. They're going to set you up. They're going to sabotage you, and they're going to make a mistake, and you're going to end up looking like you're invading Venezuela. And this week, I think it was this week, Monday, I'm not sure, Trump took down a general and the Southern Command, which were the ones that I'm sure were organizing all of those and working with all those cartels and etc. But this that I'm talking about happened today at 2 in the afternoon. And Schiff was standing in my door. His spirit, oh, you don't believe in that? That's okay. This place is not for you. You cannot be in the power structure on planet Earth today unless you know all about spirits, all about black magic, and all about ETs. So if you think you're like a really big deal and you don't believe and you don't know a lot about that, you're not such a big deal. Your world is this size. And the power players world is this size. And don't play there because you're not going to make it or they're going to run circles around you. Okay? Just sit there quietly. Listen to me. That's all. So this Adam Schiff is connected to a plot to murder Trump. This was today, not yesterday, when there was another plot, or maybe it was the same one. And it all has to do with the fact that Trump is stabilizing the planet, stabilizing the Caribbean and Venezuela, because it's not just people like Schiff, they're working with the ETs. Oh, you don't believe that? That's okay. Just be quiet. Just sit there and be quiet. You are not part of the power structure of the planet. Okay? Just fade away because this is not for you. So, what can I say other than give the information that I have? We ended up giving a big healing to Venezuela. We ended up stabilizing it. And we ended up, everybody ended up asking for a lot of protection for you, you ended up in a huge pyramid made out of emerald, and you were inside of it. But you already had for protection from before. So I'm not trying to say that we are protecting you, and if it wasn't for us, you would. No, no. Everybody knows, and we could see it, that you are very heavily protected because you are front and center having to understand the planetary processes that, according to the Bible, is the most important thing that's been happening for 2,000 years. And according to the Mayans, 5,000 years, we've been waiting for this time. So I put it up on a post on all my platforms. The important one is X, having to do with a message that we got from the spaceship 31 Atlas or 13 Atlas. I don't remember the number. And what's going on now is, and I'm not sure that I didn't say it yesterday, and excuse me if I'm repeating myself, but apparently planet Earth got off track on 1988. And we were in one direction, which I think has to do with evolution. And something happened, and we ended up moving in the opposite direction. 1988 was when Bush took over power. Basically, you got the intelligence community in charge again. And they know everything about ascension, but they want to make sure that they're the ones that are in control. And if we all ascend, we're all going to be masters, and that does not leave them in control. And that's why in this country, there is kindergarten level spirituality. The spirituality practice here is you have to be good. Jesus Christ was good. No, Jesus Christ was a master, and what he did was heal others, and it certainly appears that he was really good, but the core of him was not sitting there just being good. It was actually doing something for others. And there was no Bible when Jesus Christ was around. So to suggest he would support everything in there is not such a great suggestion, because 300 some years later, the Vatican was the one who made the decisions. Again, I refer to the Bible. But I think that if you're going to be using Jesus Christ as your poster board, you need to do what he did, which is heal. He didn't give speeches. Okay? He may have talked to his people and taught them. He didn't run around giving speeches and pointing fingers at people. He actually did something. So I taught you to heal the other day. Remember that mantra. Please, God, help me with my intention to heal my dog, my wife, my daughter. You say it silently, and you open your heart, and you allow white or pink energy to go from you. That's your intention. And if you get out of your own way, it will happen, and your energy bodies will align. So give me a second to pull myself together to see if there's something else that I want to. Oh, by the way, cannabinoid receptors, which is what science discovered, it's a system that is influenced by cannabis. Cannabinoid receptors are the strings from string theory. They're the chords that are in the Lord's Prayer, where in the Lord's Prayer, the original Aramaic talks about chords that tie us to people that we were not so nice to. They talk about the knots because the chords get knotted. And all the cannabinoid receptors, including the section that I have written a book on that will be out in several days, they're all electric in nature. And the Higgs field is composed of cannabinoid receptors. The name is silly because it's simply, oh, cannabis got received by the human being, so there's got to be a system, so we're going to call that system cannabinoid receptors. It's much more accurate to call them mind strings, which is what I am calling the section that I'm dealing with. But I'm just letting you know this, that anything that is bad for a system that's electrical is bad for the cannabinoid receptors, which are the channels that your mind flows through. I'm dropping it now because that's a bit too much information. So I believe, because of additional information that I got, the future's elastic and plastic always, that we are now, today, tomorrow, the next several days, I'm going to join everybody else who says something really big is going to happen. And I believe that a part of it, if not the core of it, if not the base of it, is going to be earth movements, the movement, the literal movement of the planet. The United States seems to be very nicely positioned because of all those pyramids that I keep sketching. Even though it was a little bit shaky, the vibration when what I sketched yesterday, it was still very solid. Venezuela was going to fall apart today, and we were able to take care of it. Human beings have a lot more power than we've been allowed to know. And those people that have been in charge of the intelligence community that have all this information don't want us to know this, because it removes them from the hierarchy. It becomes more community. Everybody is created equal, which is what Jesus Christ wanted. Everybody to create equal, not people above us telling us what to do, especially withholding so much information that would make such a huge difference. Look at how our children have been made sick by this system. Our food. We don't need to go into that. So I'm going to call it quits right now and say that Schiff is still very much operational for his spirit to show up. And I have had, he's shown up when I've had groups together, our Mantrista movement, in a chat, and there've been several of my followers that have been able to see him. So la loca no está tan loca. What does that mean? That's in Spanish. What I'm saying is the crazy lady's not so crazy at all. And I think, Trump, you very much need to go to everybody that was connected to Schiff, that was connected to intelligence, because I think that the people at the higher levels are going to know a lot about what the intelligence community in this country did that was with the ETs. Because this attack on Venezuela at 2:38 this afternoon was an attack. At the top it says in Spanish, provoked by ETs. But there were human beings in that, where that X is, that had dynamite to create explosions in places that would have created earthquakes and chaos. So I think it cannot be that difficult to find which of those people are still standing and supporting Schiff, that he could be smiling there at my door, his spirit, feeling so full of confidence that he's going to be able to take you down, Trump. So too many people are being left still operational. And I'm going to say something else. Those lawsuits and those court proceedings that you have, very legitimately for those members of the intelligence community, they're not as nervous as you think they are, and they're not as nervous as they should be, because you have a situation, Trump, in which a very way up at the top person having to do with all of those cases has done something within the documentation that when you reach critical mass, the enemies that you're taking to court are going to be able to say, yes, but look at this. You can't take us down because look at this. Something has been enfolded in the documentation that goes against these people that you're now picking up by an insider all the way at the top, somebody who knows a lot about law, to where when you reach critical mass, you're going to go, oh my God, we wasted all of that time. We didn't see that. No, you didn't see it because maybe it wasn't there when that was getting reviewed, but it was put there. And I have gotten that information so many times, and I have said to myself, just be quiet. I'm sure they're going to know this. It's not going to be that big a deal. And I keep getting it. Within your people, brilliant legal minds, it's a form of sabotage, but very delicate, and somebody who knows a lot has inserted things or given something an angle to where when you reach the end, you're not going to be able to take these people down. And maybe you've wondered how come they're not more nervous, because they know that in the end, something's going on and you're not going to be able to complete the process. They're going to be, you're cutting them at you're knocking them in the back of the knees. They're not going to be able to get up fully, but they're not going to also not be able to be taken down fully, because there is someone within, somebody legal, highest level, brilliant, that has done this. I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, impressive. Impressive. And it has to do with the documentation. Not that a document is missing. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to drop it now. Anyway, I have put here this Mantrista music video. That's what it's called. It's too long. Has to do with the heart, but it has the Schumann resonance. The planet, I believe, is going to get a shakeup again. The future's elastic and plastic. This particular video, which is on YouTube, and it's free and it's 10 hours long. If you have a heart condition, it's going to help a lot. If you have a broken heart, it's going to help a lot. If you have a problem with your lungs, it's going to help a lot. I think I have pneumonia. That's why I've been listening to it nonstop. But it really works. But the main thing is, if it's the Schumann resonance, which keeps like the planet stable, I think it's going to be very important and very helpful for this to be on in these following days that may be very difficult, having to do with the Earth literally doing a U-turn because we got off track in 1988 as a planet. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for listening. And don't ditch any information. Just let it be there. You never know. When you go, wow,